Hi, and welcome back to Bounce Forward with me, Tiff Hall. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm recording this podcast, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to elders, past and present. Storm contacted me with a great question. She said, first somatic Pilates done on TXO. Good on you, Storm. The ball movements were a challenge, but doable. They are very challenging. For me, the hardest thing about doing this program will be the mental challenge, sticking with it when I'm not getting all hot and sweaty and doing high impact exercise and instead doing strength training. I still plan on doing boxing once a week. I'm trying to trust the process, but I'm hoping that this program will help with my cortisol levels, which have been getting out of whack again. So Storm, what I'm hearing, because there's not really a question in here, but I am hearing you, because what you're talking about here is if you aren't hot and sweaty, then you're not feeling like you're doing a workout, right? And then you're also talking about your cortisol levels being out of whack, which I'll also talk about that as well. Now, this is a common mindset, one I have struggled with myself, the hot and sweaty workouts. I went through a phase myself where unless I was feeling like I was being smashed at the gym or going for a long run where I was a hot, sweaty mess, then I didn't feel like I had got a workout in. But hot and sweaty is about stressing the nervous system, while strength is working the muscles in a slow and controlled manner. There are benefits to both. But if you don't want to further stress your nervous system, then taking a break from hot and sweaty workouts to focus on strength can be amazing. And look, unless you're an athlete like Usain Bolt, you don't want to be doing that red line training and stressing your nervous system anyway. Yes, do some cardio, get hot and sweaty, have fun doing it. But if you're feeling like it's impacting your nervous system where you're feeling fatigued and drained and like you got nothing for the rest of the day, opposed to feeling endorphins and joyful and absolutely full of energy, then you've got to reassess your training anyway, because that means your nervous system is not coping. Let's look at hot and sweaty workouts first up. These workouts are typically high intensity and lead to a significant increase in your heart rate and your calorie burn, which is great. They often emphasize cardiovascular fitness, endurance, and overall caloric expenditure. And they involve a lot of dynamic movements and often include things like running, jumping, burpees, high intensity interval training, aerobics kind of stuff, right? You sweat due to the high intensity and the continuous movement, and these workouts usually result in a lot of sweating. So you feel the benefits, which is the improved cardiovascular health, the enhanced health, heart and lung function, which is great. You love that feeling. The increased calorie burn, which we all love looking at our watches and looking at after a cardio session and seeing 300 to 500 calories burn. Effective for weight loss and improving your metabolic rate. Then you've got the enhanced endurance, which builds stamina and aerobic capacity, and it gets you quick results, which is why hot and sweaty is always the first pick over strength training, because it produces the quick results in terms of fitness and weight loss. It really does, but it's not really a long-term thing, right? And I'll go into that in a bit. So some examples are your HIIT workouts or your sit workouts, your spinning, your cycle classes, your circuit training, your dance classes like Zumba or boot camp workouts, those kinds of things. Then you've got your slow strength sessions. Low to moderate intensity. These workouts are performed at a slower pace and it's controlled movements, and you might not be sweating as much, all right? Your weight training involves lifting weights or using resistance bands or body weight exercises. You're focusing on your form and your technique, and your aim is to build muscle strength and endurance with less emphasis on the cardiovascular fitness. And the benefits are that muscle growth that promotes that hypertrophy, that muscle growth, which is the increase in strength. You've got your bone density, improves bone density and decreases the risk of osteoporosis, your joint health and stability, and prevents that risk of injury, and that metabolic boost, which increases the basal metabolic rate due to a high muscle mass, which is so important for that long-term calorie burn. Now, it's important to note here, well, I'm burning more calories when I do hot and sweaty though. On my watch, it says I did 500 calories on doing hot and sweaty, but in my strength session, I only did like 100 to 200 calories. Yes, that's true, But you get the epoch effect after you do the weights, which means you are burning more calories at rest, which means you can sit on the couch, watch Netflix and eat a muffin, and that muffin isn't going to count. You're going to burn more calories after. Whereas in hot and sweaty workouts, you're only burning the calories in that exercise period. Okay. So examples of strength training, you got your weightlifting, your resistance bands, your body weights, your Pilates, your strength yoga sessions. So the key differences here: hot and sweaty workouts, high intensity, elevated heart rate; slow strength sessions, moderate intensity, controlled heart rate. The primary focus of the hot and sweaty workouts is going to be your cardiovascular fitness, endurance, and calorie burn, whereas slow strength sessions is muscle strength, growth, and endurance. But you're going to burn more calories over the long term, and it's more of a long-term game. If weight loss is your goal, then you want to build that muscle because muscle burns fat. And long term, you want to have more lean muscle to fat on your body. So doing the strength sessions is more important than cardiovascular, in my opinion. Then you've got movement and speed, hot and sweaty workouts, more fast-paced dynamic movements compared to the slow strength controlled movements, all right? And then you've got that calorie burn, that immediate calorie burn in the high intensity hot and sweaty workouts versus the long-term calorie burn due to muscle gain of the slow strength sessions. I really think that you need to combine both. And being in that mindset where I've been so many times before where I've just been all about the hot and sweaty, martial arts, running, fitness classes, teaching body combat, teaching body pump, being obsessed about the calorie burn on my watch and my steps and all of that. I've been there. I've been in that phase. And the problem is you're not getting strong. And you really do need to build in that strength training, as hard as it can be for someone who is an exercise bunny like myself. I find resistance training hard and it can be uncomfortable, but you've got to have both. You have to have both. The strength training offers a wide range of long-term benefits, and it's just magic. And it's so important, especially as you hit 40 and you're in perimenopause, that you do this strength training. It's about longevity. It's about keeping that muscle because that muscle starts to be eaten away every decade after you turn 40. The hormones hit, the weight gain hits. And if you're in perimenopause, it's a bit of a shit show. And all of my friends who are in peri at the moment are just begging me for a peri plan and like, how does it work, Tiff? And there are specific things that you can do. And one of them is strength training because you get that increased muscle mass and strength. You get that improved bone density, that enhanced metabolism, which increases that basal metabolic rate, the BMR, meaning you burn more calories at rest due to higher muscle mass, which is just so important. You get that weight management and that better body composition where you've got the fat reduction, but the increase of lean muscle mass. And you get more definition because you're enhancing muscle definition and overall body aesthetics by changing that ratio of fat to lean muscle mass. Plus, with the strength training, and I know it's all people focus on the looks and the weight loss, but it is about that improved functional strength and making everyday activities like lifting, carrying, and climbing easier. Lifting my 2-year-old, when she's having a tantrum and calming her down, it's such a workout. You really want to make sure that you can enhance your athletic performance as well. And then it's reducing chronic diseases, cardiovascular health, lowers blood pressure, improves cholesterol levels, and enhances cardiovascular health. It's so important. You got your blood sugar control, improves insulin sensitivity, helps manage blood sugar levels, reducing risk of type 2 diabetes, and your mental health. Strength training is proven to reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety, improving mood and boosting overall mental well-being. So that is so important. And then you're thinking about anti-aging and longevity and all of those things. It's all about strength training. Studies are coming out now and saying if you want to live a longer lifespan, hit the weights. Other things like better posture and balance and coordination and prevention of injuries and rehabilitation and all of these things. Cognitive benefits like your brain health. Strength training is also the heaps of studies are coming out to say it really does help with brain health and your mental clarity. So it's just so important. And I'm just begging you to embrace Pilates and trust the process, because the strength training is so important. And if you're struggling with switching from hot and sweaty workouts to strength training, here are some tips. So you want consistency, because that's what's going to build the muscles. So like 3 sessions a week. I know you've got 3 Pilates sessions this week. That's going to work. Progressive overload. You need to be challenging those weights. So with Pilates, for example, don't just do a glute bridge. Add in the band for resistance. Add in the Pilates circle for resistance between your thighs. And then you've got the variety, target different muscle groups, use different exercises, which is great on TXO because you're following an instructor and you get given all that information. You don't have to think about it. And then, of course, you got your nutrition, which needs to support your training. So that's the difference between hot and sweaty workouts and your strength training, and why strength training is so important. Thanks so much for listening to Bounce Forward. I love having your company, so please DM me on Instagram at tiffhall_XO and let me know what topics and questions you'd love me to cover. Don't forget to rate and review me on your podcast app. Speak soon. Happy days.